Hey Lance, word has it that you've started the Levin tooling.
Word has it my left foot. Patrick said I need all this done now. So I said, okay, all right. Nah, seriously, welcome. So this spins one direction. This is how you get perfect micro holes, right, Pat?
That's right.
The way you get a perfect micro hole is the spindle's turning one direction, and this is turning the opposite direction, and that micro drill goes in, and we're dealing with perfect. As near perfect as perfect can get. So I guess they're going to laugh when you called that thing heavy duty and you've got it in one palm of your hand.
Exactly. That's a good...
It's just going huge.
That's a good point. Yeah, and actually they really do call this a heavy duty cross slide. And you'll find out when we show you our regular duty cross slides, which we do have. They're in the pipeline, so you'll see them really soon, maybe next week. And the first one with the base is 100% done. So this will be done today. So in this video, when I'm all done, I'm going to share both flumes completely done.
Hey, hello, and welcome back. This is Shop Adventures number 16. I'm Lance, that's Patrick back behind the camera, and we've got some exciting updates to our topics this week. You're going to have to just deal with a lot of Levin and Son products. Our base of making a product around here is the Levin Lathes, Levin drill presses, Levin micro drill press, Levin attachment, and a ton of accessories that all make a Levin do everything and make everything. So you're going to see in this week's video me prepping and getting all these nice accessories all cleaned up and ready to go that attach to the Levin Lathes. Patrick wraps up the flumes. You're not going to be hearing any more about any more flume this and flume that, but you do have to put up with a lot of Levin or leave them. Okay. So the flumes, he's gonna show you how it works. He finally got the second one rebuilt. He's going to show all that in this video thing, and then he knows he has to get that off the table. He's going to then turn around and share with you how he's going to mount the Levin Lathes down, and so we can start getting into, you know, something we're supposed to do for him. Oh, that's right, machine stuff. Shoot some chips across the shop and blow some oil up in the sky, shall we? Okay. Knowing all that, so Pat's going to show you the layout. He's going to do all that, and then Pat does something normally I'm stuck with doing. He's going to give you a teaser. You know how I'm playing with the Barker mill right now, and there's a top secret accessory the company itself knows about but's never seen. Okay, well, Patrick's got one from the Boley, Boley, sorry, the real Boley, not the other Boley. Right, Patrick, what's the name of that other one?
Boley and Lennon.
Boley and Lennon's not as important as Boley. If you're into watchmakers, yes. Tools, you'll know. We have a one-off thing. He's going to surprise you with a secret. And that's all we got there. A little historic moment, if I may. When I was born in 1963, okay, my father, who's still alive and well, was working at a company in Buena Park, California called Park Engineering and Manufacturing. And right after I was born, I started going there to see my dad was a supervisor there, I believe. That's the last job my father had before he started his own aerospace job shop. He started that in 1973, but I was brought there in 1963, and he'd been there about 3 years. And that was my first ride on a forklift. Came in 1967, the year Patrick was born. I got my first ride on a thing called a tow motor. They weren't really called forklifts at the time, or at least to children they weren't. And my dad had even made me one of those knurled handled hammers, the little ball peen hammer with this flat. That I still have to this day. I gotta find it somewhere. But I just wanted to share that little moment. And the reason I'm sharing that moment is my father left there in 1973 to start his own job shop. That's true. As of this last week, that company, Park Engineering and Manufacturing in Buena Park, California, located right next to the Fullerton Airport, actually, real close to it. Ironically, we're across the street from the Yucca Valley Airport. They're folded up. They had an auction and closed up that company after all those years. Just a little piece of history passing me by. I like to keep it personal a little bit sometimes. Now, speaking of locations next to airports, let's talk about Active Atom for a moment. That's the place Patrick and I are at. Okay. This is the state of California. Okay. This is the state capital, Sacramento, up there in Northern California, not far from San Francisco. and you come down. Patrick and I spent our whole life right here. That little red dot right there, that little pinpoint, that is where Active Atom is located. That's about 50% across the state of California. This would be Las Vegas right here. We're here. San Diego here. Los Angeles here. San Francisco here. You get it. Okay, we know our state because this is where we were born and raised. This is where we spent our whole lives together. The reason I'm bringing this up is we have our website linked down below to a specific place called Active Atom location. And the reason we're sharing that is we just want you to know at that location is every last detail. It's 13 categories, 13 pages of category describing our environment, where we work, the desert we live in, the state, everything about getting here, even if you came from outer space to get here. There's some topic for everybody to at least go look and browse at the 13 locations. Pat will give you the link. And it just shares the details right down to our address and where we live. You can Google it. But it's just as how we live, and you can see our airport right here and everything. It's a neat little place, and it's a great place for people that like to be creative and invent and design things because there's no fences, no buildings, no concrete, no green lawns. It's an open desert. You could walk from one end of it to the other. This is the Mojave Desert. So let's get on underway here. Let's get to the topics, and let's get out of here and go into the shop and see what we got going on, and look forward to some machining coming in the next couple of weeks because I certainly am ready to get back to turning some parts.
Me too.
Amen.
Hey, Lance. Word has it that you've started the Levin tooling.
Oh, word has it, my left foot. I'm like out here in the machine shop under lock and key. Patrick knows very full well where all of his precious little Levin tooling attachments are at all times. It's okay. Everybody has their pride and joy little babies in the world. Hey, I'm glad you're here, though. Let me explain to you. We want to introduce you to the Louis Levin Son Company. They've been around since they started in downtown Los Angeles way back, and they've had quite a history. It's worth visiting. I'll put a link in the video down below to the Levin Son. You'll enjoy that visit to their website. They still make some of the tools you'll see us using. They do not make any specialty tools necessarily. They make the generic stuff today. But they're a great company, they're nice to work with, and they've been around forever, and we're really proud to be a part of that. Okay, I just want to introduce you today to our Levin and Son products that you're going to be seeing. And why it's important that we introduce all this is that I'm cleaning some parts right now. But what's going to happen is you're going to see these as we produce our product in the future, and it's going to be a lot to do with these Levin. These are our base machines. These are our... Let me tell you what a Levin is to a micro machine shop. A Levin is your equivalent to a Monarch 10EE. And boy, would I like to have one of those. Not that I've ever mentioned that before. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm just going to go over some of this Levin stuff. In fact, he knows exactly what's out here. I don't know why he talks like he does. Patrick sent this micro written list here. It's a small piece of paper with a lot of writing on it. Especially if they're the guy that's going to be cleaning and inspecting. I always tell you I'm out here to polish parts. The truth of that is it's a process about micro machine parts. You get in this habit of what they call polishing. The polishing is really your chance to inspect it because, come on, these things are micro tiny little screws, itty bitty threads, stuff you need a loop to see at all times. So let me give you a list of what I'm working on. I finished one already and returned it back to Pat's protected custody. Haven't I, Pat?
Yes.
And he's graciously reassembled it already, and it has disappeared from my site. That's a common occurrence here. You're going to love that over time. I know we do. Okay. So that was our Levin heavy duty. I'm sorry. Levin cross slide, heavy duty cross slide. Okay. Sorry, the list is long. So okay, I've got that one done. I'm focused on what I'm doing out here. So. Right now, I'm working on one of two double tool cross slides. I'm also going to be doing two regular duty cross slides. I'm doing a 6-position turret for Levin Lathe. A turret's really important when you're making a product like we're going to be doing. You know, that gives you these 6 positions. Anything you can envision being turned on a lathe, that's what these tools do. They drill, they tap, they chop, they cut. They thread, they do whatever you want to do. Whatever it is you want done, they can put grooves and anything else. That's what a turret does, and it's automatic positioning. And to use a turret and put it on automatic mode, you then have to use one of these double tool cross lights. And I'll explain that really easy if you don't mind, Pat, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Okay, you see it has these, what are these?
Oh, those are the gear racks.
Yeah, the giant gear racks. This one's in good shape. This one's rejected. I'm going to explain that next, but...
The little one is the one you rejected,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, here, let me get a good photo of that. Okay.
Apparently, as Patrick was pointing out to me, this one faces up, the little one, the little rack does, and the big rack points down. So guess what? Those little micro mini chips, as small as they are over the course of time, do get in here and they do wear it out. In fact, but I want to teach you about the slide. Okay, so the double cross slide has a really neat function when you're automatic machining like you are with a turret lathe. This is really neat. Okay, so you have your primary tool here mounted on this thing, and you can set angles and stuff like that. Back here you have your cutoff tool, and this allows the machine to automatically cut off, continue, cut off. You see, this is where we keep cutting and going, and so I just want to share that part because these machines are how we're going to make our product. We do have two of these everythings. And we have two of these base machine Levin lathes because we can both operate them. But, you know, setting up one of these babies is a real pain in the neck. Because, you know, just to give you an idea, so let me finish my list of what I have to get clean, polished, and given back to Patrick. I've done the heavy-duty cross slide. I'm doing two double tool cross slides, two regular duty cross slides, the one 6-position turret, a radius attachment, and a micro drill attachment. Okay, because, you know, we also have these really neat threading attachments. One, we can thread through the headstock. We can do point, right? Single point?
Yeah, single point threading.
Okay, and then on the turret, which is really neat, we have the threading tools. That's where you get the automated threading, and we can keep making parts. You can make 100,000 of these things. And so that's, in fact, what these machines used to do. They used to make that. In fact, just a little back history on these machines. Some of these machines are brand new parts. And what I mean by that is, couple of these machines we're going to be sharing in these videos came from General Dynamics. They're an aerospace company that's no longer with us. It was basically based out of San Diego, and it did have some office units in Pomona, because I know I've been there. And Patrick was able to acquire these machines and stuff, so that it's pretty much more brand new. But, you know, we've been using them for decades now, in some of it. And so they wear. So, you know, we just need to clean them. And I want Pat to just zoom in. This is what starts to happen. On a big, giant, maybe Monarch lathe, this wouldn't matter to you. This is going to matter a lot on a micro machining scale. This is getting oil buildup. You know, we've just been feeding these, Patrick liked to tell me earlier, he was teaching me a little bit. He says, hey, we've just been feeding these things oils for decades. Well, it's time to stop. We're going to start our product. Let's clean them up. Let's make them really as good as we can get them. Let's get everything the way we like it. So, you know, not to mention we're filming this on YouTube. See, before we could machine and you didn't see it. Now you're seeing everything. So there's no hiding anything around here. These are some of the parts that we've had to replace. This is something that happens a lot. They have to replace because they get worn. These are stops. This is a rack gear, and they just get wiped out. Chips get in here. It's destroyed. You can try to fix them, but what ends up happening is they're going to be sloppy and loose. So we have to replace them. These parts have come. The replacements are here. We just recognized this small rack. We got another one coming now. Because if you don't, what happens is when you start cranking, and I'm going to show you something adorable in a second, but when you start cranking these little tables, they go clickety-click, 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 clickety-click. And the reason they do that is because all these sloppy, loose parts, so we can never have that, not on a micro scale. These things have got to be precision and perfect at all times. Before we all get carried away when I started talking about heavy-duty cross-slide, let me show you the crank handle that you would be familiar with, say, from your Bridgeport or your Wells Index mill machine. You would see a handle all right, and you crank it right. Here's mine. This is my heavy-duty. This is off our heavy-duty cross-slide. There's two of them on there. But anyway, this little beauty here is just giant. So, yeah, I'm trying not to hide it. There you go, Pat. Can you get it?
Oh, that's a perfect.
That better?
View, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So the reason we're doing all this right now is we want to make sure you understand what you're going to be seeing in the videos. We have anyone can get a Levin machine. That's true. We have two of those. That's great. It's not show and tell here today. It's trying to educate you a little bit about what's really going on behind the scenes when you have a Levin machine. The Levin machines should literally be free by the time you have all these attachments. These things are massively expensive. They're hard to acquire in some cases. Their maintenance on them is pretty high. You have to keep a pretty high standard to maintain that high quality standard. And that's all we wanted to share with you, really, right, Patrick? You have anything else you see? Patrick, did I forget anything that we want to share? Because I'm going to get these all cleaned up for Patrick. This is what I do in the evenings, by the way.
Are these the parts just for what you're working on?
These are my parts for here.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a double cross slide. All the little goodies and parts and pieces. I mean, they are tiny.
That's a lot of parts, huh?
Yeah, and last night I had to do a whole bunch in the last 2 days. I basically devote about 5 hours in the afternoons. I call this my after-work therapy lessons out here. I have to come out here and get these parts all cleaned up, but this is our chance to make them look shine and look good on YouTube for you too. I mean, we've been using them for decades. It's just time to, we've had to do work along the way. I'm not acting like we just ran them in the ground. That's not what happened. We just needed to fix them up a little bit to get going with you guys. So I hope this has been educational and informal. Pat, I have anything else I forget?
No, I think that covers everything.
Well, where I'll be in my evenings for the next couple of weeks while I get all these attachments and accessories done for the Levin project. And then when we rebuild these machines and put these attachments on and make a setup or whatever, you'll get a good feel of what all this stuff means. And I will show you when we're cutting what it does. We're going to get to show you, not just what it looks like and how pretty. Let's go show you what it does. I think you're going to enjoy it. It's on a micro scale. It's unique to YouTube, and we're excited to share it. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Hey, Lance, how are you doing on the Levin accessories?
Oh, hey, hi. Okay, really good. Of course, I always cringe a little bit when he comes out here. Truth be told, he usually drops off parts like he's dropping them off at the parts washer, throwing them in there for automatic cleaning and send them back. It's a little more complex than that, but no, I'm teasing. He's all right. He's just checking on his little babies to make sure nothing's going bad with him out here. Okay. A little funny thing, and I wasn't kidding. Right now I'm just working on a double tool cross slide here. I've already delivered the heavy duty cross slide and another one, I believe, a double tool cross slide, didn't I, Patrick, to you?
That's right.
Because, see, the way it works for us is, and this is the Levin stuff we're babbling on about out here, I disassemble these tools, and I acetone them. That's where you're at right now. What you're seeing in front of you is acetone only. And then we go on from that. There's a process. I'm going to give you a quick little rundown on it. But then once I'm done polishing, code name for inspecting every last little thread and piece in here, and I get them back to Patrick, and he does the reassembly and the light oiling, and I believe he uses that nye oil, don't you, Patrick?
That's right.
Yeah, we like that stuff a lot. I use it when stoning, too. I don't do stoning very often, but I do. Some of these things get dings and dents over time, unfortunately. Not that we abuse our tools. We've just, we're going to clean them every month. We're going to do that every month. I'll tell you what you do every month. You make more parts every month because you got that customer whistling down your back. That's how they are, and it's just the reality of the world. They want those little timing and watch parts from us, and they want them tomorrow. And then, and some of these customers are pretty demanding. We don't work for anyone anymore now. Remember, we've stopped. We now we're concentrating on refixing up all these machines and everything, getting them up to standard, of course, to make our product, as we've mentioned. So let me just give you a rundown of what my process is. And first of all, Patrick did drop off a bunch of these hand rests, also known as tool rests. They're really neat. I can touch them because I'm the one that does it. Anyway, they really come out nice when they're done. Then that's how the rest of this is going to look. So if you kind of want, these are completely polished actually. Which brings me to just a really quick thing. We use this polish, Flitz. Look, I'm only telling you that we think it's the best because it works well for us. Patrick wanted me to bring this up actually, right, Patrick?
Right.
Because, why am I on YouTube? Well, I mean, we live in a rural little desert town. I'll tell you why we're on YouTube, because maybe this isn't the best. Maybe you have experience with working on it. You see what we're doing with it. So maybe you have experience. Maybe you have an idea. Maybe if you would just take a minute, if you really have something you believe is better. At any time on any subject, by the way, nothing's ever wrong around here. Just put it in the comments below. We'd love to know. If we can do it, we'll buy it. And if we'll try it, and we'll see how we experienced, how it works compared to what we've been doing.
And we'll share that.
Oh yeah, we'll share it. We'll share it, and if you like, we'll share that you're the one that suggested. this is a community we're really proud to be a part of, so I want to make sure I was clear on that. Okay, here's what I have to go through. I start with the acetone. I move to this IPA, Patrick calls something alcohol.
Oh, I would say isopropyl.
I just can't say it, so I just give it to him to say it. Sorry. And then I have nye oil. You'll see these little broken stone right here. Sometimes I have to stone the little dents and dings. We're not dealing with much here. I do use these cotton swabs. These are a small, a medium, and a large for us. Believe it or not, that large doesn't fit most holes. Okay. This one does. And sometimes it's a toothpick that fits. Whatever. Wood's my favorite cleaning tool. Just so you know, wood never hurts any metal, so I always use it. And then we have every brand, every version that they have of this in 2 different finishes, Pat.
Right. We have
this is Scotch Brite, of course. Everybody knows.
Yeah, it's actually from Norton. And we have both the aluminum oxide and silicon carbide in all the different grades.
Yeah, because we don't know what we need. I know it sounds funny after a couple of decades, but it's something inevitably always does come up. It can be anything. And so anyway, and then when the worst case comes to worst and getting these parts done for Pat and getting them back to him, I resort to sandpaper, a 400, maybe up to a 600 grit range. I mean, I have fines all the way up to full-blown 2,000 polish, believe me. As a micro machine shop, you learn one thing, you learn it fast, micro finishing. And you have to be on tolerance, and they have to shine like a mirror. And that's something the watch world pretty fluent in, especially on the high-end stuff for vintage watches. Okay, so that's where we get our skills for doing what we're doing. And this is actually giant to us, but necessary. Okay, so and then there's one more item we use, and only when we have to do it because there's too much of it, and it's very rare. It's usually on tools that we buy online and bring in here and need to give them a little love before we can even think about putting them into the machining line, and that's evaporust, right, Patrick?
That's right.
But only when we have to. Not that we're against the product. I just try to stay away from the harshest of harsh stuff. We're dealing with small items. Just to give you an idea, this is my swivel here. Look at my giant, and this is my little swivel base for the top slide. And just to give you an idea, it measures a total of 2 inches. And that is my little dial indicator there, my little degrees rather, I'm sorry. Patrick?
That's right.
Okay, so that's what that does. Just to give you an idea. So
and just to show them, this is the top slide that rides on that.
Okay. Sorry, I had it upside down, didn't even recognize it. I don't recognize it taken apart. That's a funny thing.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I talked about my tools, talked about that, talked about how I do things, asked for a little help on polish. I really appreciate it. We ran into a problem. This is how critical what we do is. We have a lead screw nut problem the other day. I give this all back to Pat. He's building it. He's doing the little nile, the whole thing. Puts in the lead screw into the nut, the lead screw nut. It's a bronze or a brass, right, Patrick?
Yeah, we think it's bronze. Is
that what we think? Okay.
Yeah.
And it binds. I go, what do you mean it binds? Okay, he'd already returned one to me the other day, like a lead screw I thought I had done right, and you can't see it until you put the loop on. That's when I recognized it. There was a light little layer of oil on one, and he returned it back to me because that little layer was enough to bind that screw. It's how tight this is. So, all that being said, the other one was doing fine. All of a sudden, he puts it in the nut, it won't work.
Well, it was really difficult, and I didn't want to force it, but it was like it was seizing in the nut.
Yeah, remember? And so he takes it apart, and what's in there? My cotton swab. Little line from this piece of cotton had gotten on that nut, and that's how much we mean no backlash. 0 would be the word I'm using. So I'm trying to lead you up to something. And here it comes. I'm going to stand up now. I just want to walk around. I'm going to show you a new, I would call it probably, it's missing its spindle at the moment because remember, we're rebuilding 3 spindles we're doing two Levin instrument lathe headstocks, and we're doing the drill,
the drill press. And the micro drill accessory.
Yeah, the micro drill accessory. That's what I'm going to show you guys right now. Let me stand up here. I've been sitting for a lot of hours because of the slave driver here. Nah, I'm kidding. Let me get my little stick. Come on around. Okay, here you go. This is what we were just talking about. I've got it all apart. It's missing its spindle. This is what they call the drilling accessory, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So basically it works like this. Your lathe's running, it's spinning one direction.
Oh, really quick, just to show them, the spindle actually sits right in here in this slot.
Yeah.
And it's fastened by these 2 screws right here, just so you can get a mental picture.
Yeah, and it's out because like we're doing those 3 spindles, and those spindles are to the 50 millionths total indicator run out. So that's what the requirement is on that. So they're going to be perfect. We're going to be building those in a detailed video, remember, so get excited about it for us, would you? it'll be a different color. Okay. Won't be blue. Opening. Okay. So this spins one direction. This is how you get perfect micro holes, right, Pat?
That's right.
The way you get a perfect micro hole is the spindle's turning one direction and this is turning the opposite direction, and that micro drill goes in and we're dealing with perfect. As near perfect as perfect can get. And that's why we just want to share this. But this is the most complex tool I have to redo. It has a lot more to it than the rest of these tools do, and it's really critical, and it's my most complex. So I can't wait to get started, but I am saving it for last. Good.
Yeah, just really quick, because see, it actually has 2 adjustments right here. Because it has 2 slides, so that you can get this thing perfect on center to the workpiece.
And then somebody that's inspired me, I just want to, but let me get to something. This little dial here, this is what I had. He had returned one of these to me the other day.
All right.
And I just want to share it because there's one here. I don't have one on the table, but I want to share all of our experience with you. That's what this is called, Shop Adventures. This little puppy that turns fine right here, it was off by 1/10. We think maybe a 1/10 and a half. I'm not talking about much of a thousandth here. And that little bit, I was able to do a really specialized fine, with your usual pattern sanding, and I was able to actually get it balanced out to 0 on crossing. It's four sides. I call 4 sides of a circle, but you know what I mean. And it got it really good. And when I gave it back, it actually works really well. It has just a little bit of movement in it. There isn't much there, and that's all I wanted to say about that. I just want to share that because this is how we're going to make our product. It's really kind of critical to us. That all this is going to work really well. You can see we've used this quite a lot over the last couple of decades. It was time to get some love in the room.
Yeah.
And what else do I have, Patrick? I know you're gonna share your 2 of those cross slides.
I want to share the 2 Levin accessories that you've done already.
I mean, don't expect me to share them with you. You want to know why that is? Well, that's simple. Once I gave him all those parts and he lightly oiled them and rebuilt them, and they're really running perfectly, they're missing. They're hiding. Oh, that's right. They're probably somewhere where I'm not allowed to go or see them at the moment. But
no, that's not true.
Yeah, I know. I might be blown up. But we're going to go find them right after this. So thank you.
Thanks.
All right. As promised, we're out to see Patrick in the workshop, who's going to give us some excellent updates on the Levin accessories that he's been reassembling after they've come back out from the machine shop, rather. Okay. Hi, Patrick.
Hi. Okay, yeah, let me share the finished accessories with you. Let me pick up the first one. Okay, this is the heavy-duty cross slide that Lance did first. And this is what he was working on first in the first video clip. And as you can see, it did a really good job. I mean, it looks and works like brand new. All I did was assemble it, oiled it. I adjusted the gibs for the cross slides. Just trying to think.
Hey, look, I got to say something. A lot of our viewers are own some of these machines, like the bigger lathes and the Bridgeport mills and stuff, and even some power mills. So I guess they're going to laugh when you called that thing heavy duty and you've got it in one palm of your hand.
Exactly.
It's just going huge.
That's a good point. Yeah, and actually they really do call this a heavy-duty cross slide. And you'll find out when we show you our regular-duty cross slides, which we do have. They're in the pipeline, so you'll see them really soon, maybe next week. But yeah, everything's really nice. Everything's adjusted perfect. Everything's tight. The hand wheels are silky smooth. I wish you could be here and try and turn these yourself, because you wouldn't. They're just so nice.
Yeah, they look like they're turning really nice.
Yeah, and what's nice is there's no backlash at all. And one of the things that's in here, there's actually 2 thrust bearings, which take the pressure going both ways. And then it's just such a perfect design, And although everything's really tight, it's really smooth. I mean, it's really nice. This actually works a little bit better than the regular duty cross slides, which actually use deep groove bearings. Okay, and we'll talk about that when we get to those. But we're really happy with this. And then the next one is the double tool cross slide. And same thing, looks beautiful.
Oh, I hope we don't pick up a lot of glare from the sun with that beautiful finish on there.
And as you can see, okay, there's handles that should go here. Okay, this would be the X-axis, and this would be the Z. So this is going, so the headstock would be here, and then the lathe bed. So this controls this little slide going to and from the headstock. And then the X-axis, which is controlled by this lever, controls the bottom slide, and that's a movement across the bed. Okay, and the reason why I didn't put them on is because Lance identified on this top slide there's a gear rack on the top, and Lance thought it was too worn out, so it's something we have to order from Levin. So we're gonna wait for that to come in, and when it comes in, it's easy to take this off, install it, put it back on, and then we'll install the levers, and then it's 100% done.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't mean to distract you there, but there's a big glare coming from the right side of the screen here, and I was just wondering, what is all that beautiful stuff I see there?
Oh, these are some of the accessories I snuck in when you were doing your work on these parts, and yeah, as you can tell, these were all full of chips and oil. You know, after just years of use, yeah, we try to keep our work area clean and all that, but you just can't help. You know, we use cutting oil, just the chips. You know, they get everywhere in these little nook and crannies, and they just get, you know, after a while, they just need maintenance every once in a while.
So even though our work's small, it's still machine shop work.
That's
it's still
right.
What it is.
Absolutely. Just on a little small scale, little chips.
Okay, now I've had one viewer...
Real quick.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to show them one of the parts you had talked about in your video. I had to have you shave the height of this. This is that little gauge that moves back that you can set. And what happened is when Lance brought all the parts back and I was assembling it, this was just too tight. It was binding. So I had to have him shave off 10 thousandths. And once he did that, it works just like this one, really nice. So, and that's some of the things, you know, it's just wear factor. You know, it could be even maybe a little tiny dimensional change in the new thrust bearings, something, but you know, we just want to make them perfect like new again. So that's there.
Okay, well, I know I'm out here, and I did have one viewer request about it, and I think you were trying to sidetrack everybody from it. So suspicions are arising, and it turns out they want to know a little bit more. Let's get the camera right on his face there, lie detection system. They wanted to just know about, maybe you could give them an update on that Flume motor you had two. You were finished one, and you were working on another one. I think they just want to know how it came along because of all those parts.
Sure, come on down. I thought I was going to get away with it. Okay. Okay, yeah, the last update you got from me was we were waiting for the bearings. You know, the bearings were supposed to have come on a Friday. We got them on Monday. And this was actually supposed to have been done already. But I got sidetracked doing other things, working with Lance and whatever else goes on here. And this has just been sitting, but finally today I'm finally back on it. I'm actually going to film assembling this, and I'm going to put it in fast motion so you don't have to, you know, watch me do this over an hour or so. But I thought it'd be pretty neat for you to see me put all the parts together. Everything, just really quick, Lance has already gone through all the parts, he's cleaned up everything. I've done a few little things to prep the parts for assembly, like I sanded down the commutator, because, you know, after a while with the brushes make, you know, cause this to get really dark with the carbon. So it's really nice when you're doing a rebuild. You know, you want to replace the bearings. You want to sand this, and I use about a 600 grit sandpaper, and just really lightly. It comes off pretty easily. And I think that's about it. Do you have any other questions?
No, I just want to be sure everybody knew we were doing all these things all kind of simultaneously. It's kind of called Shop Adventure, so it's comes and goes, I guess.
Oh, sure. That reminds me, this will be done today. If you remember, we have two Flume motors. We have the one with the base, and then this one's a standalone with its own little tiny, what you call the little house.
Oh, yeah, the little house.
Yeah. Okay. And the first one with the base is 100% done. So this will be done today. So in this video, when I'm all done, I'm going to share both flumes completely done, and this will be 100% completed out of the way, and we'll be working on the Levin Lathes 100%.
Well, we actually need this tabletop, right? One of those Levin instrument lathes goes right here, mounted on this table permanently.
Right. One gets installed here. I think we share it, and one gets installed on the Levin table across the room.
Yeah.
So
just to give you an idea of, where we're at and why it has to be out here.
Yeah.
Either that or Pat's going to build it on the floor.
Oh, let me give you a quick update since we're here. The tapping machine, if you're wondering about the tapping machine, we're still waiting for the thread cutter. I think it's supposed to be here next week, but so we just put that aside. When it comes, we'll get back on it. And then we still have our German micro drill press. That's done. We still have the drawbar. If you remember, we weren't happy with the drawbar because it uses the WW 8mm collets. And the drawbar is just really rough. Do I have it around here? Oh yeah, here it is. Yeah, you can see. I mean, the machine's just beautiful.
It just didn't survive time. It's one of the wear parts. It needs attention.
So we're gonna focus on this, get this done, and once we have one of these made, we're gonna do some thorough testing, and then we're obviously going to share it, and then we'll obviously share the progress on the tapping machine, and once that's in operation, we're going to obviously show that to you.
And the drill press gets something else, right? You ordered because it was just a little too noisy.
Yeah,
it works, but it's...
Yeah, if you remember when we shared the last status of the micro drill press, the idler pulleys, those little brass or bronze, were they bronze?
I think those are brass.
Brass, okay, right. Okay, if you remember, they were really noisy. And I thought they were because of the collars. I thought they needed to be tightened up closer to the idler pulleys. But we did that, and we were playing with it. But they're still noisy. And what we think over time, because it is a really old drill press, and we thought just over time they just wore, and they're just moving too much, and causing that really loud noise. So what I've done is I've ordered some brand new idler pulleys with bearings this time. See, those didn't have any bearings. They were just running right on the shaft. So that's kind of one of the issues.
Yeah, dimensionally they were good. That's why I went ahead and did the polishing on them. They passed. They were good, but they're just not going to be as quiet as having bearings in there.
Right, and I think there was a lot of, because you could feel the wear. They aren't as tight as I would like it to be either. So the new ones they should be here in about a week as well, and they're actually ball bearing idler pulleys, so they should be really silent. So that'll be a big plus.
Well, that'll be great. Well, thank you for the updates this afternoon, Patrick.
Sure.
We are out in the workshop, and Patrick's going to show us a flume running and give you a little update on those flumes, and we'll talk a little bit more about the future of this little bench in front of him. Hi, Patrick.
Hello. Hey, guys. Okay, finally we got the flumes done. You won't hear about these flumes again, other than the next time you see them, they'll actually be in use. So that's good news. Okay, and the video you just saw in fast motion, you saw me put this together, and it went really smoothly. I didn't have any problems at all. As you saw in the video, I even replaced a switch, and that went really smooth. And no problems at all. New bearings, and here, let me turn it on.
Ooh.
See, it runs smooth. And this is really nice because just to refresh your memory, this is the one that can be used to drive a lathe. So you'd have your lathe here, your headstock, and then your belt here. And you have a little belt so you can drive some other accessories. But what's unique about this flume, and this one too, is you can remove this cap and you can install a flex shaft. And we have that, and we'll show it to you at a later date. So that's really nice as well. And then you have your speed control, and this goes either forward or reverse. So really nice, and we have two of them. Okay, and this is the first, if you remember, this is the first one we did. This is the one that we had to repaint and all that because it had the really bad shipping damage. And you'll notice, although this is 100% done, you'll notice it's not installed on this little plate. And I'm not sure, are you good there, buddy?
Yeah, I think
okay.
I just want to go over here and show that if they're...
Okay, yeah. When we originally purchased this, it was configured for the motor to be mounted on this side. So this plate would have originally was mounted here, and you'll notice the hole here for this bar. So you can have it, there's holes on each side, so it's meant to be used in the right, to have the motor on the right side or the left side. So that's really nice because a lot of the older European lathes, they were left-handed where the headstock was on the right side. Okay, but we recognize the problem because I'm going to use it in this configuration. Okay, and if you notice, if I install this right now, you'll notice the pulley is on the wrong side. So you say, okay, well, why don't you just turn this around? I could just turn this around and install it. Okay, and if I do that, what happens is the power cord will end up going in the front, and then my on and off switch will be in the rear. And I don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm basically just going to take the base of this motor and just turn it 180 degrees, which it allows me to do. And then once I do that, I'll install it. But I'm not going to show that to you because that's a 10-minute job. So next time you'll just see it in operation. You'll see a lathe installed here, and you'll see it actually in use.
Yeah, it'll be really neat. It's kind of neat to see. We haven't gotten to see it because remember this was that damaged one that we bought from Germany and had to have it rebuilt.
Right. This is the one we've owned for a long time.
Right, this is good.
We've actually put this in use, but this is the one that had shipping damage. We've had it for about 15 years, but it's just been in storage because it just had all that damage. And
they're just learning with us. I mean, we didn't know it goes on this side, that side. You're just coming along with us to learn how we're going to do it, but we are going to put it to work because we might as well.
But as you can see, it looks great. I mean,
I'm hoping I don't have any problem with the camera, Patrick. There's a huge glare coming from right there in front of you, that big brown block where that's called a hand rest.
Actually,
boy, who did that beautiful finish?
This is micarta or phenolic. Okay, and this was actually really damaged. And of course, Lance, he actually sanded it, reshaped it, and he buffed and polished it on the buffer. So, and it looks great. He actually had to bring it down where you can see the screw holes. Those weren't initially there, but that's really minor. But other than that, it looks great. He even put in the little, angle right there.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, really nice. So it's a little, it's a little rest when you're working on the lathe.
Of course, I'm going to show off my work because I really get into this finishing stuff. Okay, anyway. So this table, Pat, what's going to become of this table now that this flume's done? It's not going to just stay sitting here.
Yeah, okay, these don't live here. After this video, these are going to be moved, and you and I next week we're actually going to start the installation of the 2 instrument lathes, which are these long bed lathes. Okay, and what we do is we permanently install the chip tray, and then we have a motor base that installs permanently in the rear, so that's stable, doesn't move, and then we just bolt on all the accessories. We bolt, you know, the motor, idler pulley, the lathe bed, and all, you know, everything else. And the other one on the Levin bench, same thing, identical configuration, the chip tray, the motor base, and so forth. And then you said something about this tapping machine being kind of heavy. Yeah, we found that this is so heavy now, you know, with this nice wood base. And this is actually, we decided to make this its permanent home right here next to the Levin setup. And we also have a Levin drill press, and the Levin drill press is going to live next to the... Let's see if I can wander over there. Oh, I can come over here. This is a chip tray, which, by the way, that's what we're installing on the other table. Yeah, that's not installed right now. Yeah, this one's not installed yet either. They're both going to get installed. This is the chip tray, and then the motor goes back behind it. And the drill press Pat's talking about, it's going to go to the right there where that indicator is. That's right. That's right. And then the little German micro drill press, that's going to go on the other table over there across from here, so that's fine. It's just going to be over there on we found just a home next to the Barker mill. Exactly. It's going to go on the tool chest right on the left. Yeah, that's good enough. So see, we find room for everything in here. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff. And then, you know, here, there's going to be some equipment. You know, it's really messy because we're doing all this restoration work. And that's why you see it all messy. Yeah, normally the benches are empty, so we don't have stuff all over the top of them. Yeah, actually, right. It's actually equipment. Yeah. So this isn't going to look like this. All of this is going to get assembled and everything. Yeah, this is not the Levin's park department. And one thing we got really exciting is, you've probably seen this since video 1. This is a Bergeon motor setup with an idler pulley. And this actually goes with a Boley Lathe. And it's a one-of-a-kind lathe. I'll keep it a surprise, but it was actually brought over by a German master machinist that immigrated to the U.S. years ago. We're talking 30, 40, maybe 50 years. I have the story. I actually purchased it from the son. The dad actually gave the lathe to the son, but the son actually went into the medical field. So son figured, well, I really don't have a use for this, and I was really fortunate. I was able to get this lathe, and it's really awesome and one of a kind. And we're not keeping any secrets from you. I actually remember it because I remember the way we asked him to box it, and we paid a fortune just for the crating. Right. It's whenever you have something that's one of a kind, it's historic and it's made by the factory like that, like Boley. That's pretty serious, so we were responsible for that huge historic moment. So I paid a fortune for packaging. It was the most bulletproof crate I've ever physically received in my life for such a small product. Okay, that's it, right, Patrick? Yeah, that's it. Just a little update, and we'll get to you later. Okay, thank you. Bye. Bye. Hey, we hope you enjoyed this week's video, and please don't hesitate to subscribe. And did you know, we really do value getting those comments. We love to answer any question you may have for us. Thank you.